Hello everybody, welcome back to the James Lawrence Allcott channel. It's been far too long, but we need ourselves some Reddit soccer. I've been looking on the back page of the internet for the best stories and the weirdest stories as well. In this episode, we got ourselves some lawsuits, several managerial changes, one bitter manager, Luis Suarez's true colours, and some raw passion from the Women's World Cup, which I've been to recently, so I'll give you my thoughts on that as well. Before we get into it, I was having a look at my analytics the other day, and I noticed that of all my subscribers, only 9% of you guys have actually hit the notification bell, which notifies you guys when I drop a video. The quicker you get views, the better your video does. And like anyone else, I'd love my videos to do better. So if you enjoy my content and you want to support the content, one tiny thing that you can do for me is hit that notification bell so that you get alerted when you get a video. And hopefully that's a good thing for you as well because you enjoy the video. I'm getting embarrassed now. So let's start the video. Let's kick off with Frank Lampard, the new Chelsea manager after one season in the dugout. This time last year, Sarri had come in, this idea of a new philosophy and Sarri ball, but it just wasn't a good fit, was it? Despite him doing everything that was really asked of him at the start of the season, finishing third in the league, winning the Europa League, Sarri's first major honour, it wasn't enough. It couldn't have got better for Chelsea. They were able to offload Sarri and get 5 million quid in the process. So the next stage for Chelsea, a club that is renowned for being cutthroat, is they're turning to their hero. They're turning to Frank Lampard, and it's a manager that most Chelsea fans want. It's a massive opportunity for a makeover in the philosophy, and this is the first of two managerial changes that for me we'll see in terms of position in the league, it getting worse before it gets better. Chelsea are gonna finish lower than third next season. That is a guarantee because of the transfer ban, but could it lead to a better future for Chelsea fans and the feeling of that club? On Reddit Soccer, journalist Henry Winter posted this quote from Tammy Abraham. Tammy Abraham says the Chelsea transfer ban is probably not what the club wanted, but for us it is exciting. I'm excited. I'm sure the rest of the young Chelsea players are. This year is the most important year for us. There's no better time to play the youngsters. It's now or never. And the same goes for Frank Lampard, because the problem we have as English football fans is that we judge managers too quickly and they are finished as soon as they've had a failure. Now let's look at Lampard's first season as a manager at Derby County. He did a lot of good things. He made some good tweaks in the team in the second half of the season and dealt with a hell of a lot of pressure for him and his very young side to get into the playoffs. And they probably weren't favourites to be in there, but at the same time, Gary Rowett did the exact same that season before, with a squad that was arguably not as good. Now granted, Frank Lampard did get them to that playoff final. They overcame that hurdle and it was a great result against Leeds United, but he didn't set the world alight. Now, I'm being a hypocrite if I suggest that that means he's not good enough to be the Chelsea manager, but it also doesn't prove that he should be the Chelsea manager. Sarri did everything that was asked of him, but the fans didn't love him. That is such a huge commodity because it allows for patience. He gets a free hit this season. With the transfer ban, him and the players involved, they get a year of development. If they don't make it into the Champions League next season, it's not the end of the world because they haven't spent any money and they've got a squad with a lot less money going through the wages than in previous seasons. So for me, I think it is actually a smart and brave decision, but that's the key word here that fickle football fans often forget when it gets to October, November, December. Be brave, stick with this guy. He's got credit in the bank. He's your greatest ever player. So give him the whole season and allow him to get through those dodgy patches because they are inevitably going to happen. Because if you look at that first team next season, that team is missing Eden Hazard. He has already gone and you've got a lot of players there who have huge potential but are totally unproven. And that's just in the Premier League. That's before we even talk about top 6 and top 4. A managerial change I can't get behind is the departure of Rafa Benitez at Newcastle United. This is widely understood as a stupid decision. Some people, they might see it as short-sighted, but actually the truth is that it shows the true colours of Mike Ashley. Now, I'm one for playing devil's advocate. I'm one for trying to find an angle to understand the decisions that people make. But in Mike Ashley, he's been given the benefit of doubt for far too long. And in finding a gentleman in Rafa Benitez and then being able to keep him on board with such a basic squad. I said this on the kickoff in October. That is a championship squad. And that's before You take out Rondon, who has not been kept. Wolves have gone and bought him. And it looks like it's going to be very clear that there's going to be very, very little investment in the squad this season. They were able to get away with it time and again because they had a manager, like I was saying with Frank Lampard, that the fans believed in and that the fans trusted. To not see how from every angle, be it trying to sell the club or not trying to sell the club, how crucial Rafa Benitez is to Newcastle United Football Club in terms of keeping everything together. Premier League status, the good players that you've got left, the fans coming to the ground. That is all gone now because your total lack of ambition shone through. So much so that you've now lost him, which is going to make it harder for you to sell the club. It's going to make it a hell of a lot harder for whoever comes in next. And I will say it now, I will be blown away if that squad is able to survive in the Premier League this season. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. And if you're a Newcastle United fan, now is the time, unfortunately, that you have to talk with your feet. You cannot go and watch this club anymore until this guy goes. Christian Hennish said it to me and it really hit home. They are wasting time. So either you make a stand now or this could go on for another 3 years. Something has to change. And as long as Mike Ashley continues to make money from this football club, nothing is going to change. Will the takeover happen or not? Is he just trolling the Newcastle United fans? I don't know the answer to either of those. But what I do know is that the only control football fans have is with their feet, is not going to the club, is not giving oxygen to this football club. And as painful as that would be, for me, I think that might be the only decision and the only option that Newcastle fans can take now. It was Lionel Messi's 32nd birthday this week, and some of the stats that came up on Reddit Soccer just highlighted that this guy, well, we need to say it for how it is. This guy's an alien. This graph came up on Reddit Soccer, and in 13 of the 15 elements of football, he is top of the pile in La Liga. Now, quick question for you guys, let me know in the comments below. Does that say that La Liga isn't that competitive, or, as I've made quite clear, is Messi an alien? Let me know in the comments below. Imagine actually being Messi. It's probably not as good as you think, actually, if this is anything to go by. Messi lookalike has been caught sleeping with women by pretending to be Messi. He's being legally sued by 23 women. Now, you're all going, oh, that's disgrace. You're a disgrace. That's outrageous. Picking up women by lying and saying you're better at football than you are. We've all done it. We've all been in the nightclub and going, what, me? Yeah. Semi-pro footballer. Like this video right now if you've done that in a club. Like this video. You owe me that because I've called you out, okay? But we're in the same boat. We've all been there. Look, and it works sometimes, but normally you don't want to be sued. But I'll tell you who else needs to be sued. Some of these women for believing that this bloke is Messi. Do you really think Lionel Messi is walking about Iran wearing his Barcelona top, holding a ball, just to prove that he's Lionel Messi? Come on, girls. He's charmed you. Okay, just deal with it. To be honest, he looks more like Bobby De Niro. And it seems like this girl's bragging as well. Why is she showing up 3? Oh, unless she's... 5 years ago this week, Luis Suarez bit Chiellini for the second time. What a sentence that is. Footballer bit another player. And just like clockwork, he showed off his true colours again, twice in one game. First of all, claiming handball when the goalkeeper made a save. And then secondly, when a pitch invader ran on the pitch, obviously, and Chiara, the Chile player, kicked him, Suarez appealed to the referee asking for him to book Chiara. This dude, he can try and be as nice as he wants to, but in those moments, time and again, regardless of age or time or space or sphere or continent, he is an absolute Luis Van Gaal. He seems like he's turning into quite a grumpy old man, unfortunately. This poor interviewer was asking him some questions, excited to hear his tactical analysis by one of the forward-thinking minds of the last 25 years, but he was having none of it, which just sounds like he's in an absolute stinking mood. So Louis, the Netherlands is a country of painters, of artists. Do you feel that your work has an artistic vein? No. Okay, but you love order, yeah. And order is the foundation of art, isn't it? I believe that every team needs a structure whose purpose is the collaboration of its team members. Yeah, good point. But Don't you think that football has been automated in such a way that only that spirit of collaboration prevails, because the individual hero is more incapable of solving problems than 20 years ago? I don't think so. I mean, look at Barcelona. They've got the best player in the world. How many Champions Leagues have they won in the last 5 years? And this, you can tell the interviewer, he just got fed up by this point and then just kind of indulged him. So who is the best player you saw this season? Guess who he said. And look, I love this guy, but guess who he said? The best player he saw this season, James Milner. Calm down. I'm not claiming he's not brilliant. He didn't even start the Champions League final. But Luis Van Gaal is going on about how incredible he was in the Champions League final. Louis, bit too much time in Amsterdam. Know what I mean? Maybe lay off it a little bit. Go for a jog or something. Get some fresh air. Joe.co.uk ranking the Premier League badges. Yeah, it is the summer. Inspired by the Guangzhou Evergrande club badge, claiming that they are and will be and must be the best forever. More pressurising than inspirational, I'd say. But with this in mind, they decided to give a definitive ranking of the Premier League badges. In last place was the Watford badge, and you can't blame them. They're called the Hornets. It's a moose. It's not even like it's not like a tiger. Use a wasp or a hornet. Use a hornet. And the font, the font's a bit naughty as well. 19th is the Burnley badge. First of all, it feels very low resolution. Second of all, I don't really understand the hand or the bees, or I'm guessing that's a seagull eating something, or with a giant moustache. It just looks like the guy who made it was confused, or it's been made by a small child. In first place, Joe UK went with Crystal Palace's badge, and I can understand that. It's an eagle. It's fierce. It's simple, but it's impressive. They're giving the eagle centre stage, but it's almost like it's towering over a building, like some sort of King Kong eagle version. What are your top 3 Premier League badges, or top 3 badges full stop? Let me know in the comments. An interview went viral this week on the Reddit soccer page, and it was from the legendary Brazilian female footballer Marta, whose passionate interview after her country's defeat against France really hit home for a lot of people. This Brazilian side is a side that's done well in previous World Cups, but it's a team that has quite a few ageing players. And with that in mind, a lot of these players were playing in their final game, and so Marta, who's 33, was probably playing in her last World Cup. And you could see the passion that she had for the women's game. And I was out in France, and what you could see is that I think a lot of people are going to be almost patronising about the women's game and suggest that it's arrived. Being out there, seeing the crowds, it's very different to the men's game. It's just not as far down the road as men's football at this moment in time. And that's not me having a go at women's football, because I loved going to the games that I went to. Went to England, Japan, England, Argentina, South Korea, Norway, USA, Chile. And they were all fantastic games because I loved the sport. But in terms of the development of the game, and certainly in the group stage it was a bit more glaring, is there is a big difference between the top sides who have had the money and the development of those players, not in the last few years or day to day in the last 5 years, but in terms of their entire lifetime of development. If you think about men's football, these players have been playing from day dot and being coached brilliantly from day dot. That's often the opposite for the girls, because they have to battle and battle just to play. We're starting to see how much potential, the quality of football that you can see from these, but that needs nurturing and it needs total commitment from the government. And in a lot of other countries, you've seen it in Chile, you've seen it in Argentina, and I think there's some worries here from Marta in Brazil. There is a worry and a fear that that investment won't be there. Then it comes down to the players themselves. And that's what Marta said in her interview. It's wanting more. It's training more. It's taking care of yourself more. The women's game depends on you to survive. So think about that. Value it more. Cry in the beginning so you can smile in the end. I thought that was so incredible from Marta, a woman who's given her life to the women's game. And given her life to the women's game when it's not at its zenith. It's not up there yet. It's on its way. It's in the air, but it hasn't landed yet, the women's game, from what I saw when I was out there. And what she's saying is that women footballers and girls, the next generation, they have to take control of it themselves. And that's what this generation and the generations before them should be applauded for. So there you have it. That was the best of the back page of the internet. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have done, why not consider subscribing? And if you are subscribed already, hit that notification bell so you are notified as soon as a video drops. Hit the like button, that always helps as well. And let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you next time.